Coming up on the Park It On podcast, we recap the week of matches just gone. We talk about the Country Carnival 2025 finals. We do a little preview of BPL 21. I give you a little bit of an update on the state singles. And of course, a little bit of Schuey's wisdom. All that and more coming soon. It's time to Park It On! Welcome back on into the Park It On podcast, the only lawn bowls podcast that tries to capture the feeling of really just parking a lawn bowl on for shot. My name's Riley, the world's okayest Div 5 bowler, and joining me as usual is the simply fantastic, the hyper-elastic, the absolutely bombastic, Mr. Jimmy!
Hello. I hope you're keeping cool today, Riley.
I drove 2 hours in the 40-degree heat. I am dying.
Yeah, it's a bit like that today. It's a bit low energy, but we'll try and get our way through. But yeah, for those who aren't in South Australia, today it's 43 degrees max for today. So we're all just slowly cooking in our houses.
I had to take the old aircon off because otherwise it's quite noisy on a recording. So I am sweltering. But it's the things we do for our art form, Jimster. You know, I go through pain for my art form, which is just talking absolute bollocks. Well, yes, it's another week of bowls, another week of beautiful matches, and I think it's time for us to jump right on into the match report of last Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I've just realised in the show notes I have not changed the opposition. We did not play Somerton 2 weeks in a row. We actually played the Henley Bowls Club. Now, Henley Bowls Club is a beautiful bowls club. They've got some fantastic greens, fantastic people, fantastic facilities, and they're also like 5 minutes away from the Grange Bowls Club. So I was in for a pretty cruisy morning. We drove on in, and when we got going, the wind was pretty hectic. It was a pretty strong, facing westerly. So for facing west, that means it's a north to south sort of southerly wind, just going straight across the greens and causing a bit of havoc. But for us, Jimster, it caused a good bit of havoc because we won 23-14.
Very nice.
These guys were really good opposition. You know, I reckon any other rink, and they probably would have gotten one up on who they were playing, but we, through the the vicissitudes of life, we ended up with a pretty stacked rink. So I ended up leading for 3 Saturday skippers, all of which who have skipped for me on a Saturday. Bloody legends. You know, they're a bit cheeky. They're a bit strong-willed, shall we say. But there's state coach experience in there. There's just oodles and oodles to learn from. And it was such a pleasure to play with them. For me personally, I had a bit of a meh. I had a pretty awful start, mate. End 1, I was nowhere. I put the jack too short and I was too far past it. End 2, I put the jack too long and I was too far below it. End 3, parked a sucker on. And then I didn't miss for basically the rest of the game. You know, I talk on here a fair bit about how slow my starts can be, and that is a major weakness of my game. You know, it does take me those extra few ends to get going. Even when I have the roll-up to start the game, even when I'm out there going, there's just something different about actually playing for points that means I just have a bit of a tough time really adjusting to the actual conditions of the green until we're in the middle of play. Now, yes, we only won by 9 shots in the end, but we went into lunchtime at like 18-19-4. It's kind of hard to lose from that position, and I think the combination of the fact that we were leading pretty well and the fact that we were all playing pretty well led to our opposition definitely lifted after lunchtime. They sort of worked out the conditions and they were bowling their absolute arms off. And we sort of fell away a little bit. We got a few lucky results, but their skipper saved easily 16 shots on his own. Their lead was just parking stuff on all over the shop. Their 2 was just curling them right in there. And their 3rd was just being a real nuisance in a very good way. I love playing against those guys. We ended up drinking beers in the club rooms for a while afterwards, just shooting shit. I had an absolute blast playing against Henley. I'll do it anytime, any time. Love those guys. But yes, we got him. There was one particular end, Jimster, where I had a bit of a mare right towards the end, where Trev, who used to be a state coach, he bailed me up and he went, "You need to get back on the fucking horse." And then I parked another couple on, and we got him. When we're looking towards next week, we are playing against Brighton 4, who are my favourite bowls club. And in fact, they've had a bit of an okay season. They're starting to drop a little bit on the ladder. They're in the bottom 3 at the minute, but any rink on any day can really just put in a match-winning performance, and it's just about keeping that consistency for us as Grange Bowls Club to just keep parking them on and, do our best. I'm going to treat it like a singles match again because, after we had a pretty strong win, we've been backed in the exact same rink for this week, and that's completely fine. When it comes to the Brighton Bowls Club, I've been told that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. So let's move on to the Terry Termites.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Terry Termites had a weird week this week where, unfortunately, it was 1-1 due to a countback on the first game, which ended up being a draw 5-all, but they won 4 ends and we won 3. Really lovely blokes. The Stugots. I'm going to just say that's how you say it. I don't know. Yeah, so these guys started, I believe, last week at Grange. I believe it was their 4th game, according to them, when we started playing them. And they said they hadn't won one legitimately, which means they did the same thing to another team the week before.
Ha!
But yeah, no, we played really, really well. Without Riley in the first position, we put Erin, our super sub most weeks, but she led for this week, and even from bowl 1, she was doing really, really well, parking a lot of them on, getting in and amongst it. Ended up, drawing but losing on countback on the first one. The second game against the Fruit Bats. Now these fellas, I love them with all my heart. They are so funny. So their skipper seems to be a bit of a loose cannon, a bit of a short fuse man, and these 3 gentlemen on the other end do everything they possibly can to rile him up.
That's bloody excellent.
Shout out to the one, I believe, British bloke that is on their team who at the start went, "Oh, I'm third, I'm going to go have a cigarette." And that set the tone for the entire game.
I love that guy.
He comes back, he's rolling size 5 bowls that look like they are genuine boulders against everyone else's size 3 and 4s. When I ask him about it, he goes, "Yeah, I got them at an op shop, but they only had 3 of them, and I'm just trying to make it work." And he did. He was a very, very good bloke. He had a FaceTime from a friend overseas halfway through, and so we had essentially an action replay for the bloke on FaceTime. It was just an all-around good vibes. Not a whole lot to report on that front, but we did win. We won 7-5. I think it essentially went to the last end, and we ended up taking the W.
Based. How good. I love the Fruit Bats. Every time we play them, I'm away. Just for, whether it be for work or for, what I was doing this week, which was helping a friend of mine from high school talk to women. I'm just not available to play him, and it's so sad, because that British fella is the only other person that dressed up on Halloween when I went dressed as a banana. And it's just like, I feel like we just get along so well and have a wonderful time of it. But alas, there's always next game. Oh yeah, cool human beings. Love them to pieces. That wine win is coming, big dog.
I feel it.
Yeah, man. I feel it in my Russells, in my little cojones. They're trembling. They're just vibrating that little bit, and I reckon we're on for the wine.
I've been playing too much chess.
Alrighty. Yeah, we're still bottom half of the Night Owls ladder, and that's never going to change this season. That's okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much set
we're
in.
having a bloody ripper. Yes, we're white-anting the base so everyone falls in and we take over. Yes. Shall we move on to the Country Carnival, old Jimster?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, over the last few months, the men's country carnival has been going on. So people are playing there past months, a little while. Basically, all these country clubs come into Adelaide and they play a bunch of games, singles, pairs, and fours, showing off what the regions of South Australia are really capable of. And there were some cracking matches in there. The singles final got broadcast, so all the finals got played at the Marion Bowls Club on Monday. It was funny when they were talking about the Super Bowl. I was watching it with the old man, and he goes, "Wait, is this live?" I'm like, "Yes, it is, Graham. We could go watch it right now if we weren't on the York Peninsula." Shout out to my parents, biggest fans of the podcast. Yeah, so it was getting played at Marion Bowls Club. Beautiful greens out at Marion Way. Really, really nice place to play. So the singles was Garen Jenke of Berry versus Mark Wrigley. It was a pretty tight tussle to start off with. Garen had played his semi-final, which was also broadcast just beforehand, and it wasn't the closest of matches. Unfortunately, his opponent from Mount Barker just couldn't seem to get it going. They're a bit like me on a Saturday, too many ends taken to get going, and by the time he was really just plonking stuff, Garen was just looking for that 21st shot in order to win the game. Singles, of course, being played 21 up, which means you get 21, you win the game. Game's over. Don't care how many ends you are, don't care how long it's taken, 21 is the winning score. So Garen Jenke won pretty handily over his semi-final opponent. Mark Wrigley, his opponent from Streaky Bay, good old Streaky, he had actually won 21-20 in his semi-final. I'm sure it was an absolute ripper game. We only got to see little elbows of it as Garen's game was going on, but power to the two of them. They worked bloody hard to get there. The singles final, it got pretty tight in there for a little while, and Mark just sort of stuck his nose ahead and started to take over the game. And then on coverage, it basically went Garen was on 12 and Mark was on 17, and then coverage just cut out. There was something that had gone wrong, and even if you look at the replay, it goes 12-17, da-da-da-da-da, boom. Mark Wrigley got a 4 and won the game. I don't know if he got a 4 or not. I haven't seen the scorecard, but I do know that by the time coverage had come back, he had won 21-12 over Mr. Jenke. But power to him, he had a pretty good day out and, represented his club well. Now, when it comes to the pairs, they played just after the singles match, but they were a bit hamstrung because one of the brands in the fours was also the brand that was playing in the pairs. So they had to wait for the fours match to finish before they could play the pairs match. So when it came to the fours, the Brand family, who were representing Laura and Wirraburra, they won 18-9 over Brown, Chapman, Rook, I think it's Rook, and Langley, all from Nurutpa, as Mr. Peter Gers would once say. I'm sure he still says that. He's still alive. He's just not on radio anymore. Yeah, they won 18-9 over the Newry team, and, that looks like a pretty solid match. And then Mr. Brand, whose first name I didn't write down, because it was the Brand family plus a friend, whose name I also didn't write down. Basically, one of them then played in the pairs with a man called Johnson, representing again Laura and then Arthurton, and they won 19-13 over the Kadena team of Bushell and Hines. So one of those Brand fellas went home with 2 medals. Pretty solid day out for him. Well done.
All right, did you want to rip into some previewing?
I would absolutely love to rip into a bit of the BPL 21 preview.
I'm so excited. This will be my first one that I actually probably watch a decent whack of live.
Yeah, man. The BPL's fucking sick. You just... Because it's such a condensed format and it's just a week of bowls, you're just seeing people absolutely lob these fucking things, just parking shit on, playing heavy ones. There's some bloody stacked teams in there, and it's going to be a cracker. So, we're going to get right into it, a little bit of a breakdown, and then I'm going to do my tips for who I reckon's in the finals. So 4 teams that I reckon are going to do well, and then my overall winner pick as well.
All right.
So if you wanted to, as a bit, go through my little preview document and be like, yeah, no, these guys, I heavily suggest looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, trust.
Based. That's right. I'll go through the preview bit while you're doing that, and then when it comes to it, we'll go yep, I reckon these 4 teams will be in the final, and then these will be the winner, and then you can do yours. So you'll have plenty of time to work out what you're doing.
No worries.
Based. All right. So, Jimmy, BPL 21's on next week, and I'm bloody excited for it. I love the BPL format. I think it's a really exciting, fantastic way to televise bowls that sort of, I reckon if you just got the right people on the coverage, wink wink, you could actually get a pretty sizable broad audience into come check out a bit of lawn bowls. It is being played at Moama, so just on that Victorian New South Wales border there. And because of the heat here in Adelaide, a bunch of my work has just been canned outright because it's just too hot. Can't work in 35 plus degree heat. So I had a look at the old Google Maps, Jimster, and it's not that much longer than the drive to Melbourne that I do a couple times a year. I was tempted. And then I got a phone call basically being like, can you please help out with some other things? And I was like, okay, you can pay me money. So I am in fact not doing the old road trip, although I could. I very much could. But anyway, we're going to go over basically who's in the teams, a little bit of a blurb about them. Some teams I'm not super familiar with. Some teams I am super familiar with. I wonder why. I've been watching the BPL off and on for, I reckon, the last 10, 15 tournaments or so. It's hard to tell exactly when nowadays, but I've been watching it for a while. I have more knowledge than someone who has no knowledge, and that's the best you got on this podcast, so strap in, folks. So, when it comes to the teams, we're just going in alphabetical order, and what's this? The Adelaide Pioneers.
Unbelievable.
So it's crazy. I don't know. How could the Adelaide team be the first one I speak about? So Adelaide Pioneers has been a pretty solid team for a long time. Like, they've had the same sort of players in there. Like, Nathan Black came in and played a tournament. Someone came in and played for Caitlin when she couldn't play last tournament. Do I remember who that is? No, I'm very sorry. But it's basically been Wayne Rudiger, Scott Thorburn, and Caitlin Inch together for pretty much the last, I want to say 6-7 tournaments at least, probably more. And Jim said they've always been around it. They've done the bowls equivalent of what I call St. Kildering it, where they're just, every now and then, they're right around it, and you reckon they're going to get there, and they make it to the finals, and they start doing a deep run, and then, they lose. And then they get really close, and they get really, close to winning again, and they lose. They're the perennial runners-up, and I just reckon with the quality of team they have the ability to go all the way and take that cup win. Caitlin took it last turn year off because of some work commitments, but she's come back. She's shoring up a quality side. They've played a bunch of bowls together. If they come in hot and they get a good couple of results on the first 2 days, watch out for them winning the whole thing, because I really reckon they can do it. Best they've ever done is second. They've done that in BPL 12 and BPL 16, but it's so close. I can feel it. Like how we're due for the wine, I reckon they're due for a BPL Cup.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to one of the new kids on the block. This is not the newest team in the format, but they've been going around a little while. The Geelong Jets. So, basically, the Geelong Jets exist as the team where you hand infinite money to a bowls club and say, pick the players you want that are not internationals. And then they still got an international anyway because they're that good. So you got Aaron Wilson, old disco, man with the largest nutsack in all of lawn bowls. Jamie Lee Warsnop and Paul Foster MBE. On paper, that is bloody stacked. What a lineup, man. Now, they have a pretty good foundation, and you'd be hard pressed to really pick a hole in that lineup. If they've got that inter-team chemistry, like, I don't know, two of them being engaged to each other, don't know if that's a thing. They should be really dangerous out there. Now, they've only ever done as good as 9th, but that's nothing on this team's actual quality. Watch them to really make a rocket up if they pull it all together. Next you got is the Gold Coast Hawks. These guys soared pretty high in BPL 7, which is a little while ago now, but it's been a pretty mixed bag ever since. With this solid BPL 21 lineup of Nathan Rice, Kelsey Cottrell, and Nick Brett, they're looking to go back to their winning ways, Jim Sir. I'm going to be honest, I'm not convinced. I reckon they could. This is the thing about BPL, right? Every single team is stacked. Just absolutely stacked with some of the best bowlers that you can find in the country. And that's the point. It is solely specifically designed to bring together the absolute best players from around the country to just have a hit out for a whole week. It's at one of the best bowls clubs in the country, some of the best players in the country and internationally. Do I think that the Gold Coast team are going to measure up to some of these other teams? Potentially not, but as I say in the Pennants, on any day, any team can just absolutely smash it. So power to them. I really hope they prove me wrong, but on paper alone, I reckon this team might not be finals contention, shall we say. Now we get to the Melbourne Extreme. These guys, crazy. Absolutely crazy, the Melbourne Extreme. They've come second a couple times in BPL 15 and 18, and they're blooding a youth member. Jimstar. You know when this kid was born? 2005.
Unbelievable. That's
not okay. Every bowler should be born in 1999 or earlier. None of this 2000s crap. It's not allowed.
Why aren't any young people getting into our game?
Nah, I'm kidding. Look, Jack McShane has a bloody stacked resume for how young he is. He's cracked out some really cool results. They're blooding him for this tournament. He's the youngest fella on the pitch, and all the best to him. I reckon he might be the one to help take him all the way. I reckon these guys are my smoky for potentially going all the way this year, Jimstar. Their side is stacked. They come together real well, and I reckon maybe the Melbourne Extreme are gonna do some really cool stuff.
I wonder where I'd seen the name Jack McShane from, and I realised it was from the 2024 Australian Open Men's Pairs Final where they beat Nathan Rice.
Unreal bowler. Power to him. Absolute power to him. Now, if I take as long on every single team preview, we're going to be here for 2 hours, Jimstar, so I am going to speed up just a little bit. You got the Melbourne Pulse coming up next. They're pretty quick. They're pretty good. They've won 3 titles, 15, 16, and 19, pretty recently as well. Honestly, they've done pretty well pretty recently, winning 15, 16, and 19. They lost Ellen Fife to having a kid, but she's back now. She's in fighting form. And if she's at her pre-baby form, I don't know how much bowling she's done since pushing a real human being outside of her body. But if she's gotten her eye back in,
Christ.
bloody good luck to you. All right, rolling straight on into the Moama Steamers, another just absolutely stacked team. It's got Kane Nelson, Cassandra Millerick, and Aaron Sheriff in there. They're looking to do it on their home deck for their 4th title, and they're blooding another youngster, Kane Nelson. This team's already overflowing with talent, and you'll see in my my tips, Jimstar, I really rate the blooding of young talent, man. I reckon these young guns coming in, shaking up the formula, are gonna potentially be the difference maker. And I'm gonna tip my hat a little bit in my tips right now. Lock these fellas in. Lock them in for Friday. There is no reason Moama Steamers should not be challenging for the win on Friday's finals day. Alrighty. So we spoke about stacked teams, right? Well, Moreton Bay, the Moreton Bay Pirates, they have a couple friends of the pod on. We got Mr. Alex Marshall, MBE. And he's brought over his niece, friend of the pod, Kat Rednall, fan from the World Indoor Bowls recap, complimented by Mr. Ryan Burnett. These guys are in it to win it. They haven't won much recently. Their last victory for Moreton Bay was BPL 08, but Alex Marshall's won 3 titles himself. He's the MVP 3 times. He can single-handedly win the whole thing for him, and you just can't go past them. They're just crack it in. And yeah, Moreton Bay is scary, man. I wouldn't want to play. I would want to play against them because I'd learn a lot, but I'd get absolutely pantsed. Just full on, belt cut from a knife down around my ankles, and then just make your own switch to just across both cheeks, just spanked by how good this team would be. Safe to say, these guys are fantastic. We're going to move on to the Perth Suns. Now, Perth, they should challenge. They really should. They're a pretty solid team, and you see this in a lot of Australian sports leagues. The Perth teams, they have a level of cohesion that just you don't get in the eastern states. They're just closer. I don't know if it's the distance or something in the water over there or all the mining or whatever, but they just connect. You see it in the Scorchers in the Big Bash. You see it with the Eagles and Freo in the AFL. They're just good, and they love each other, and they're going to work really well together. They're blooding Warren Holt, so looking towards a decent finals approach from them. I don't think they're going to make it this year, but I reckon they're going to cut it pretty fine. Pretty fine. All right, so we spoke about stacked teams. We're getting into one of those really stacked teams right now, Mr. Jimstar. the Sydney Lions. Now, these guys, they just fell short in BPL 20. They came second. Now, who's on this team? Karen Murphy, AM, Brett Spur, and friend of the pod, and soon to be recipient of a Parkiton podcast Instagram follow, Nathan Black.
On your Blackie.
Blackie is the reigning MVP of the tournament. I reckon now he's got his eye in, and they're on the warpath. These guys are going to just get a record tying 5th title. These guys are stacked. Crazy. Honestly, I don't have much good analysis for them. They're just that fucking good. We'll move on. Sydney Saints. These guys are the newest team on the block. They're their debut tournament last tournament rather. Running with Jamie Walker, Dawn Heyman, and Ben Twist. And they came 3rd last hit out, which is pretty good for your only one. I reckon they're going to run it back. I don't think they're going to do quite as well just because potentially people weren't expecting the way that this team would play together. But any team that's capable of coming in the finals is capable of winning it. So, power to them, and we'll move on. Tassie Tridents, Rebecca Van Ash, Rob McMullen, and Taylor Mail. These guys are pretty new. I just realised I've copy-pasted the Sydney Saints information into the Tassie Tridents one, which is an accident on my part. But Tassie Tridents are an all-Tassie team, so they only have Tasmanian players, which, when you are showcasing the talent of the country, I'm pretty all about that. Now, there are downsides to that, so obviously they can't take the pick of interstate talent and, of course, international talent, particularly like Moreton Bay have done. But they're out there. The license is owned by Bowls Tasmania. Some of these other licenses are owned by actual bowls clubs. Bowls Tasmania have made a real commitment to showcasing Tassie talent, and I rate that. I rate that so much. It's not meant to be a stand-in for the states competitions. It's meant to be a showcase of the best bowlers in Australia and potentially the world, just doing their best. But to back in your state's players against the world and Australia's best, power to them. Absolutely love it. They're going to lose, but power to them. I love it. All right. And we're going to finish with the all-timers. The reigning champions, the record holders, the 5-time flag winners, the Tweed Head Ospreys. Running with Corey Wedlock, Aaron Tees, and Chloe Stewart. There's not much more can really be said about these guys. They're absolutely stacked. They're absolute guns, and they literally just won the champ. You have to just be on your A game to even try to beat these guys. So I don't think it's going to be any surprise when I go into my my finals picks. I reckon we're going to see Tweed Head Ospreys. I reckon we're going to see the Sydney Lions. I reckon we're going to see the Melbourne Extreme. And I reckon we're going to see the Adelaide Pioneers.
Oh, you've got
in that finals.
2 differences to mine. But I'm on the fence about 2 at the moment.
Very good.
So I've got Tweed Heads,
Mm-hmm.
Sydney Lions. So that's the. I've got the Sydney Saints.
Oh.
And then the one I'm on the fence about is I'm either thinking Newies Geelong or the Gold Coast Hawks.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. There's no wrong answers.
I know.
Like, depending on how games shake out, we could be completely wrong. None of those teams could be in the finals. I'd fucking love it. But yeah, these teams are stacked. Best bowlers from everywhere have come and chucking some Oblate spheroids down. I'm bloody stoked, man. So, shall we do our winner picks?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do who I actually think is going to win, and I'll do my smoky. So, I reckon Sydney Lions are going to take it over the Melbourne Extreme. Just.
All right. Well, I've got Saints as the W. I don't know who over, but I wouldn't be surprised if any 4 or even the 5 that I've got, like Gold Coast or Geelong, get up and around it. As you said, could go anywhere.
Yeah, mate. That's the beauty of a very close competition. Just anyone can win, and I love it. Gotta just have a great time, whatever happens. When it comes to the televised bowls, it's going to be on Fox Sports and KO, and it's going to add up to about 24 hours of live lawn bowls action. So in your evenings next week, chuck that on if you got it and support some lawn bowls. It's going to be great.
I'll try and get some graphics up for the Instagram and the Facebook of our picks for the the BPL.
Yep. Sounds good. I love that idea. All right. We've gone through the BPL preview notes that took me way too long to fucking write up.
No, that's all good. We need the length. We need the retention.
We do need the length. Okay. So, Jimster, I've got a bit of more information for you because the state singles draw came out last night and I know where I'm playing and who against. Are you ready?
I'm very excited.
So, in section 39 of the 2024-25 Bowls SA Sports Centre State Singles Metro Men's, I, from the Grange Bowls Club, am playing a guy called Andrew from the Toorak Burnside Bowls Club at, get this, Adelaide Bowling Club, 9:30am.
9:30am. Get excited. Get down there.
Yes, mate. Get down to the Adelaide Bowls Club. A lot of these local clubs are putting on some really cool bowls. Mudbury's putting some on. I know that Adelaide is, and a couple others, one of which I'm not going to mention because I think their greens are shit. Plenty of exciting times abound. Yeah, get down to a bowls club that's hosting some state singles and go watch some people roll some oblate spheroids. It's going to be a good time out.
I'm going to wear my termite shirt.
Yes, mate. Absolutely wear some termite shirt. I'll be in full Grange gear because the uniform policy does apply. But
spiritually, you'll be wearing the
I'll be
black and blue.
Termiting it up. Actually, no, if it's a chilly morning, I might be able to rock both and just sort of hide the collar underneath the Grange one.
I wouldn't tempt fate.
Yeah, I might get in trouble for that. Okay, Jimster.
Oh, yes.
It's time for us to bring our wonderful show to a close. We've had a wonderful rollicking time together today, but it's time to read from the book of Mr. Ian Schuey Shoeback, OAM, Bowls, Biased and Uncensored. So for a bit of Shuey's wisdom, would you please RNG?
All right, we got 176.
176. Let's have a look. Alrighty. This page is all about concentration.
Ooh.
So this is from a chapter called Mental Skills plus the Mask. And when it comes to concentration, Shuey has the following thing to say. Can you lose concentration? In a word, no. Yet this is a perennial excuse for losing. Ask someone what happened and they may well reply, I lost my concentration. This is often accompanied by further excuses such as, because my opponent was talking, or there was noise from the crowd, or I got a twinge in my back. I'm sure you'll agree that concentration is a mental thing. It's the ability to focus without distinction. And then there's an insert that says, competitive sport is black or white. You either win or lose. There is no in between. Thus say the book of Shuey.
That's Yoda vibes.
That was some absolutely ripper Yoda vibes. Love you, Shuey. Thanks for your wisdom, mate. Jimster, where can they reach us if they want to complain about how much shit I hang on certain bowls clubs in South Australia?
Well, yeah, you can email us at parkitonpodcast@gmail.com for any complaints. Any complaints will go to spam, but maybe it'll make you feel good. I don't know. I don't care. But alongside that, you can send us your CC and dry prices for the pay-to-win index. We got nothing this week, and Riley completely forgot to do it at the game for Grange.
Henley, yeah. I got a bit distracted sinking pale ales with the team I played. They were really good people, but I then completely forgot to buy myself a CC and dry, so I knew how much they cost, which is completely on me. So yes, I screwed up, but that's okay because you can cover for me and send through your prices of a CC and dry can at your local club.
I was about to say I could have a look at Adelaide Bowling Club, but it'll be 9:30 in the morning, and I'm not a problem.
You can still ask.
I could ask, but then I'll want. My hands will start shaking, and I'll turn into a creature that will be banned from Adelaide Bowls Club.
Your arm will get a bit itchy, will it?
Yeah.
All right. That's not the only thing you can send through to our email. You can send through some fun rules questions. You know, something funky happened in your Pennants. let us know. You know, we'd love to discuss it. We want content. Give us rules questions so we can have content. Give me content. All right. And of course, Jimmy, the Australian Gothic.
Yeah.
They're the Australian Gothic of everyone having a lawn bowls club story. We want to hear them. Tell us about the time you backed the old man's car over a bollard in the car park and then didn't tell him about it until you start recording a podcast 10 years later.
Nice.
It's fine. No one knows the damage. Tell us some fun stories. Tell us cool stuff that's happened, you know? We want to hear it all. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram.
Hopefully we got some cool stuff coming up as well. I need to get in contact with some people, but yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Fun stuff coming soon.
And accept our follow request, Nathan Black. What are you doing? All right.
I just feel like he just doesn't check Instagram.
No, he doesn't. He 100% does not. That man lives for, like, lawn bowls and whatever he does in his personal life. I don't know him very well. All right. Let's wrap it up. Peace and love. See you next week.
Bye. Cheers, mate.